If you're from Texas, you know you're in the greatest state in the entire world. It really is a privilege to get to welcome and to participate in the Israeli-American Council event that you are hosting here in Austin. First of all, we're proud to have you in Austin. But second, there you go. But second, I'm proud to have the opportunity to get to visit with such steadfast advocates for the Jewish community in America as well as the Jewish community in Israel. But I want to start out by thanking someone who has been instrumental in the advocacy that you're involved in, to the organization that you're involved in. And that is dear friends of mine, Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. I thank them for their leadership and everything that they have done. So to elaborate a little bit more on the introduction, listen, there is a strong and enduring bond between the people of Texas as well as the people of Israel. We share the blessings of liberty, but also the burdens of vigilance. Texans were forged in the fire at the Battle of the Alamo. Just like Jewish people have been forged from some of the most epic struggles in the history of the entire world. In each case, we eventually triumphed. Importantly, in another context, the history of the people of Israel is intertwined with the history of both Texas and the United States of America. In America, our United States Constitution, just as the Texas Constitution, are founded on the rule of law. Our rule of law has its roots in the law revealed to Moses on 2 tablets. Those 2 tablets are the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments are displayed in one location, which is the United States Supreme Court, on a massive frieze that encircles the area where oral arguments are made at the Supreme Court. The 10 Commandments are found to be displayed more than 50 times in the United States Supreme Court building. And here in Texas, we wanted to display the 10 Commandments on our Capitol grounds as a recognition of the historical role the 10 Commandments have played in the formation of laws in Texas and the United States. They're on a monument that stands more than 10 feet tall. And before I was governor, I was the Attorney General of Texas. And when I was the Attorney General of Texas, there was an atheist walking across the Texas Capitol grounds and saw that 10 Commandments monument and filed a lawsuit to have that monument removed from sight so no one would be able to see it. And I said, not on my watch will I allow the 10 Commandments to be torn down off the Texas Capitol grounds. That lawsuit went all the way to the United States Supreme Court, where I argued it personally to the United States Supreme Court. And when they asked me the tough questions, I said, right above you where the justices were sitting, you find Moses. There's a frieze of Moses holding the 10 Commandments. It was good enough for the Supreme Court. It is good enough for the state of Texas. And we won, and the 10 Commandments still stands on the Texas Capitol grounds today. I have no idea how much time you have remaining in Austin, but if you have another day or so, if you go to just the northwest side of the Capitol grounds, there's a driveway that goes around there. And that's exactly where they are. Interestingly, they're situated halfway between the Capitol and the Texas Supreme Court building. Well, listen, in addition to our historical connection, I've had the opportunity to see firsthand how really connected the people of Texas and Israel are by traveling to Israel. And once again, I need to extend my thanks to the Adelsons, because it was the Adelsons who aided and assisted my travels to Israel so that I could get to experience the unique bond that we do share. And in my last trip there, I had the opportunity to visit the American Embassy in Jerusalem. And it is in addition to his new home in Jerusalem, it is also home to a small piece of Texas is a cornerstone plaque from Texas for the embassy, and it manifests the long-standing bond between our people. In our first visit there, we being my wife and myself, we visited Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem. She and I laid a wreath in the Hall of Remembrance. And each time I've been there, I had the opportunity to visit with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The first time I was in his office, and his office is actually very small, and as we were visiting, he got up from where we were sitting and went to a map on the wall to describe the territory surrounding Israel. And he profoundly made the point that Israel is the safest location in a very dangerous neighborhood. And it was during that time when we shared our concerns about the deal that was being made at the time between President Obama with Iran. And let me be clear, it is against our interest to enter into deals with countries that call for death to America and show open hostility to Israel. Actions speak louder than words. And Iran said a lot when it fired 2 ballistic missiles with writing on it saying Israel should be wiped off the earth. So long as Iran is a threat to Israel, Iran is a threat to Texas. As you heard in the introduction, we've backed that up with our actions because we have banned taxpayer-funded investment in Iran. We have banned Texas government entities from contracting with companies doing business with Iran. In Texas, we do not do business with regimes that seek to wipe Israel off of the face of the earth, period. You also heard that I signed anti-BDS laws that ban state agencies from doing business with companies that boycott Israel. Airbnb is an example of one that imposed discriminatory policies against Israelis in the West Bank. So we banned the state of Texas from doing any business with Airbnb. Another similarity that we have, very profoundly, is the spirit of entrepreneurship. There are incredible entrepreneurs in Israel, and Texas is home to the best entrepreneurs in the United States of America. I got to see firsthand what was going on in Israel during one of my trips to Tel Aviv, and I went to Startup Nation and got to visit and see for myself the dynamic ecosystem that has been developed in Israel that is profound not just for Israel, but is reaching across the entire globe, even doing business here in the state of Texas. It's something that Israel is rightfully very proud of, just like Texas is rightfully proud of everything that our entrepreneurs have been able to accomplish. Our economy, quite literally, is America's undisputed economic leader. We lead America in producing the food, the fiber, and the fuel that we use every single day. Texas is #1 in America for cattle, cotton, and oil and gas that make sure that it powers our country. We lead the nation in semiconductor manufacturing. In Texas, we have the world's largest medical center. And Texas has led the United States of America in exports for 20 years. We rank #1 as the best state for business by CEOs for 18 years in a row. We have led the nation in job growth repeatedly. We've been #1 for economic development for 10 years in a row. And Texas is home to more Fortune 500 company headquarters than any other state in the country. Texas is the headquarters of headquarters. And most importantly, to bring this to the point where it matters the most, more of my fellow Texans have a job today than ever before in the history of our great state. And because of what all of our people, our workers and companies are doing, if you add it all up, they are producing a $2 trillion a year economy making Texas that 9th largest economy in the entire world. But listen, as you all know, as well as I do, just as important as economic security is your own personal security for you and your family. And we see that security threatened time and again by ongoing acts of anti-Semitism. It was last year, this week, when a gunman took 4 people hostage at the Congregation Beth Israel Synagogue near Fort Worth. Swift action by law enforcement led to the safe evacuation of the 4 people who were held hostage. But it hasn't ended the dangers that arise because of anti-Semitic behavior. And that's why I awarded $10 million in grants to secure places of worship like synagogues in the state of Texas. Now listen, there's no doubt that we have extraordinarily bright futures ahead of Israel, ahead of Texas, ahead of the United States, and importantly, ahead of the ongoing relationship between Israel and the United States. But at the same time, there's also no doubt that we have challenges ahead of us. Challenges concerning your safety. Challenges concerning anti-Semitism. Challenges about preserving freedom, as well as challenges about protecting the entrepreneurial spirit that we all share. But one thing I think is fair to say about all of us, we are accustomed to challenges and overcoming them. And that brings me to tell you a story about something that many of you probably did not know before I came on stage today. Some of y'all may have seen me in the past on a TV station or something like that and had no idea that the governor of Texas was in a wheelchair. Let me tell you what happened. I had graduated from the University of Texas and then went on to graduate from Vanderbilt Law School and then moved to Houston, where I had taken a job as a lawyer working for a big law firm in downtown Houston. And one day I was doing something that I always did. I went for a jog. And on this day when I was out going for a jog, a massive oak tree crashed down onto my back, fracturing my vertebrae and my spinal cord, leaving me immediately paralyzed and forever needing to use the wheelchair that I'm still using today. And I can see some people, as I tell that story, shaking their heads, wondering, how slow was that guy jogging to get hit by a falling tree? But it shows this, because remember this, it was after that I went on to become a judge, attorney general, and governor of Texas. And it shows 2 things. One thing that shows, it epitomizes what I say is that Texas is the land of opportunity. That even a young man can have his life broken in half and still rise up and be governor of this great state. That is what Texas is all about. But it also epitomizes something that is my core belief, but I think is also your core belief, and I know is a core existential aspect of Israel, and that is we are not defined by how we're challenged. Instead, we are defined by how we respond to those challenges. That, of course, that is a defining characteristic of the Jewish people, and it must be the trademark of our collective future going forward. Thank you all. God bless you all. God bless the great state of Texas.